Hi everyone, and this is Derby season again. So the guys that hate the Derby videos, that's fine. But it is Derby season. I think it teaches you a ton of really important things for you and your kids. So one, go back, watch my rules videos. I really believe this helps the kids actually be able to do the cars, you to be able to work with the cars, and kind of get the idea. But this is all about the basics of the Pinewood Derby. So what can I do to win a race? And all of these things I've used to win lots of Pinewood Derbies, okay? So one, center of mass, okay? This is one that everybody talks about. This is probably the most important part of your car. Make sure the weight is in the back of the car, okay? So we want the weight back as far as we can without too far back. Now what means too far? If I put 5 ounces of weight right here on the back, the car would actually be back heavy and it would actually shake as it went all the way down. I do want, and I don't know if you guys can see it, maybe you can zoom in, but I have most of my weight in the back and a little bit splitting it out so I'm not going too far to where the car actually wobbles, okay? So that's really important. So making sure that your car will balance at about 1 inch if you're building a standard car. If you're building a car that is really on the line where you can actually sit there and do it, where you can bring it back to about 3/4 of an inch, that's kind of where I ran most of my Scout cars. And then coming all the way back even farther from that, the more you get, the more likely you are to wobble though. So don't go too far. 3/4 of an inch is kind of how I roll. I like that a lot. It works really well for me. There's some ones out there where you can actually do it with 3 different scales. That's how I do it now. You know, but making sure the weight is in the back of the car and not too far back, definitely important, okay? Aerodynamic. It must be some version of an aerodynamic car. So if you're building a car that looks really cool, go for the show division, not for the race division. So something really slim, you know, a wedge or whatever it is, works just fine. 3 wheels. Please do this, okay? I will kill you every single time if you don't run 3-wheel cars, meaning that 1 wheel touches the ground up front, 1 wheel does not. So 1 wheel will sit there and just chill doing nothing. 1 wheel will touch the ground. Your back 2 wheels are touching here, and this allows the car to be able to be steered. Hundreds of videos out there on it, guys. I've even got a couple on ours, so go back and watch our Pinewood Derby section on that. Works great. Must do it. It just makes every car go so much better. If I have a kid that's having a hard time, I take him over, I bend one of the front axles, and I run him down the track as a 3-wheel car, he will go twice as fast. It just is. Or she. So keep that in mind. Next, wheels. 3-wheel cars. Definitely the way to go. Graphite. Please at least put graphite on the car. No liquid lubes. I think it's cheating. They're very expensive, $20, $30 a bottle. And not necessary. Just buy some graphite. Don't buy any of the blends. But graphite. Do graphite your wheels. The more graphite, the better. Okay, I'm going to tell you that much right now. If you got graphite all over your car, you are doing a good thing. If you got graphite on your hands and your hair and everything else, you're doing a good thing. If your car is perfectly clear and doesn't have any graphite on it, you're going to lose. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. Wheelbase. Do not run the axle grooves. Drill your own axle holes. Okay, and if you're in my group, I have extra axle drilling guides you can use. Totally fine. Do not put your back wheels in the back grooves. Make sure you want your weight all the way to the back, right? But we don't want our tires to go off, of course. So if you are going to use the grooves, which works to a certain point, it's a little harder to make a really fast car, but I've done it. We want to make sure that the groove that is closest to the back side is where we put our wheel, where we put our back wheels. The one that's farthest from the front is where we put our front wheels, okay? Now, just keep in mind, the one closest to the outside, we want to put as our back wheels. The one farthest away from the other side, we want to put as our front wheels. Or re-drill it. I'm a big fan of the 4 3/4 inch axle spacing. You can widen it out if you're running a big wooden track that needs a lot of stability. But I think the 4 3/4 inch spacing is really good. Wheel gap. This is the amount of gap the wheel has on the car. So if you take your tire, put it in there, and you got it way outside where the wheel can wobble around a lot, you're going to have all kinds of problems. tighten it up too much, and then the wheel will actually drag on the track or on the actual car itself and slow it down. So we want it somewhere in between. I'm a big fan of 30 thousandths of an inch. It's basically the thickness of like a business card. So if you cut a business card, little groove in it, and put it up against the wheels, that works just fine. Some people go all the way down to 10 thousandths. That's fine if your track is awesome and perfect and no problems at all. Good. I usually do about that 30 thousandths. I don't think it's as big a deal as you can from there. If you run these simple rules, you will do very well in the race. Okay? And the more you do, the better. The more you spend time on your wheels getting them perfect, the better they'll be. The more time you spend polishing the axles, the better they'll be. Now, one thing I do not recommend when doing graphite is sitting there making your wheels mirror or your axles mirror polish. And the reason is because I don't think the graphite sticks as well. So I like it just a little rough, somewhere around the 2000 grit sandpaper. Seems to work just fine for me. Okay, and then don't buy BSA cars. That's my next big one. The BSA cars are more expensive. They're made crappier. The grooves are always wrong. The axles are trash where they have extra things you got to grind out of them. Can your kids use a file at 30,000 RPMs? No, but they can sit there and sand just fine. And when you buy I'm a big fan of the maximum velocity cars, just do those. Stay away from the BSA. Okay, guys, have a great day.